Why I created a functional simplicity in my home. Intentional homemaking in the everyday. Simplified cleaning with homemade cleaners, gluten-free cooking and baking, gardening, projects around the house, and many more. Stay until the end to see them all. Why I choose to have less possession in my home? Owning less doesn't mean lacking. It's about using things that are easy to clean and store. A day that is free of obstacles, my brain doesn't go through options which can exhaust willpower. Decluttering is not a sacrifice, it's focus. I get a free vision what I truly enjoy. Rather chasing motivation, I simplified my home so it takes less effort to maintain. Simplicity dies when everything competes for attention. These are some of the reasons why I simplified my home, where it's very easy to take care for. I also simplified all the selections for cleaning, and I have all the homemade cleaner recipes up on my website scandishhome.com, and I can get away with a very minimal selection of the cleaners, and it's much better for our health as well, and I can save a lot of money by making them. I'm gonna do a quick cleaning on this toaster oven, which is my main oven. I rely on this smaller one. It heats up faster and it's easier to clean, and we don't have a microwave, and this toaster oven is really helpful if you want to warm up something. Salsa is a strong dish soap, so I like to use that with some baking powder. But if I need a more heavy-duty cleaning, I like to use the Barkeeper's Friends, and I like to use the liquid one because it doesn't do as much damage on the surface as the powder would. Today it's all about the carbs. I have some jars where I measured out all the dry ingredients as for bread, so I'm going to use those up. And also today I wanna play with my pizza recipe. If you are interested in the gluten-free pizza recipe, I have this up on my website as well. But I wanna create and adjust slightly a different texture for the dough. I want this to be a little bit harder, but I want all the moist in there as well and to have it more chewy. But I also want the crispy edges as well. And besides that, the inspiration for the pizza is to be honest, I find an amazing sauce when we were on our trip to Michigan, and I want to use that sauce. While the bread is on the track, I washed all the kitchen towels. I like to make and create a load with those so I can make a clean cycle and I can put it on the highest heat with the water. I like to add some OxyClean to it, and besides that, I like to put them on the sun as well so they can stay bright and white, well, as much as possible, because after all, they get a brutal use every single day. I'm adding maple syrup to the warm water and some yeast, and I will set it aside while I'm going to tackle other tasks. I cleaned the windows on the front of the studio a few weeks ago, or probably maybe over a month ago, I don't even remember, but I haven't cleaned the other windows, so today that is on my list, and I'm only going to do just the outside. It's so dusty as we did all the construction work, and the garden is on the other side as well. How convenient to have two of my favorite places outside next to each other. I'm going to, well, snack first. Priorities, right? And then after that I'm going to harvest some of the tomatoes and such. And this year what changed in my garden, I have more success and more fruits because of the flowers. At the beginning I didn't want to have any flowers because I thought, well, we cannot eat them, so they are not useful. Well, they are. We got so many bumblebees, so I think that contributed to a better garden this year. The kitchen is filled with the smell of the bread that is almost done. I just need a couple of more minutes. About every second day, I harvest a good handful of calendula and I just put them into this little baskets and they just dry on their own because the weather is kind of dry now. And I collected a lot so I can make some skin care for the winter. I can soak these calendulas into some olive oil and add to any beauty recipes that I want to create. Starting to work on the gluten-free pizza dough, and I like to use ghee. I think it tastes better and the texture is better. Adding lots of eggs so it can make it more fluffy. Some psyllium dusk. I think it just has a more fluffy texture with that. Adding tapioca starch so it can have this gooiness. Adding one cooked potato to keep them moist in there. And I don't like to keep extra million different kinds of flour in my pantry, so I'm just going to use a regular potato instead of the potato starch. Although in some cases it's better to use the potato starch, but that's how I keep my pantry somewhat simple so I can manage it. Gluten-free recipes can call for so many different ingredients. Sometimes I can just drop the balls there. So I like to keep my recipes simple as possible. This pizza dough looks amazing already. I'm going to put it into the refrigerator and I'm gonna go away for a few hours, and when I get back I will start to make the pizza. I'm adding recipes to my website very slowly because they are a lot of work, and besides making these YouTube videos, and I post homemaking content over there as well. And if you wanna sign up for the newsletter, it's free and I will let you know every second week what I have posted. But I have a good feeling about this pizza. I warmed up the ovens a little bit so they can rest there and just get bubbly, and once they are ready then I can just turn on the oven. like to bake the pizza dough first and then I'm going to add the sauce to it, so I have to wait for that. Meanwhile, I'm going to fold all the kitchen towels. My beautiful inspiration, the pizza sauce. Now it's ready. I baked that enough that it's firm, but I can still bake it a little bit longer so I can have the crispy edges. The topping will be simple. I have some pepperoni, Walla Walla onion, basil, and tomatoes from my garden. Just what I really wanted is chewy and thin on the middle and crispy on the edges. The sauce has an excellent taste and the topping, it's delicious. Usually I like to throw some dairy-free cheese because we cannot have dairy, but we didn't have any, so we're just going to eat it like this, a little bit bare. But it still tastes so good. We have to do a quick cleanup because we are not done with our day. I am heading down to the studio for the night shift. Hey, Joat is here too. With Joat and the Frogs Company, I am going to do a very fast and quick cleaning, and Joat is going to print out the orders and I'm going to pack them, and probably a little bit of a creative work. We'll see how tired I'm gonna be. I did a little bit of a decluttering last week in the studio, and this is the leftover that I need to clean up. So I worked on this a little bit, but now it's time to do the orders. quiet but warm night. I enjoy the crickets and the frogs and just wrapping all the orders. It's a very calming task to do right before I'm going to bed. The zucchinis are starting to popping up in my garden more often, so I'm making breakfast quite often with zucchinis.
Te is készül zucchini kovácsát?
Shredded zucchinis with some salt, and I'm going to let that sit so that all the water can come out of it. A quick morning reset so I can have an easy flow to keep up with all the things it needs to be cleaned during the day. To have an empty sink, I have to have an empty dryer rack, and not to overflow with the dishes, we only have enough plate to have a breakfast and lunch, and then we have to clean the dishes for dinner, so that way it's not overwhelming to clean. We find some beef at the bottom of the freezer. We are almost out of the beef, and it says it's a skirt. I think that's the name of it, skirt steak or something. We have no idea what to do with that, so we're just going to put it on the smoker. We bought a small skillet on our trip when we went to Michigan, and this is a perfect size for a one-person pancake. So I'm adding 3 eggs and 3 tablespoons of gluten-free flour to the zucchinis and a little bit of salt, and I'm going to fry them into pancakes. What I really love about summer homemaking, that there's more light in the morning, the sun rises earlier, so it is easier to get up. And also I can just put out everything on the deck that I want to dry very quickly, like the kitchen towels and such. Before I put them into the laundry pile, I like to dry them. Not this one, I just cleaned this one by hand. But if I have a used kitchen towel that is wet, I dry them outside and then I put them into the laundry. adding some mayo on the top of the pancake and some everything but bagel spice and nutritional yeast. Another thing that I really love in the summer homemaking, that changing the sheet is so much easier. We have less blankets and we don't have the comforter and the duvet cover. The tasks are a little bit more simple and I can air out the house very well. But I also enjoy the coziness of the fall, which is on the way. Break down in an unexpected way and time, and this is what happened with my beloved vacuum cleaner. I had it over for 4 years and that was my very first cordless vacuum cleaner, so I picked a very inexpensive one. Basically the battery has died in there and George tried to fix it, but he would have been able to fix it, but it would have costed so much more than the whole entire vacuum cleaner. So I purchased a new one. For a week I tried to leave without a vacuum cleaner. Nope, it got really dirty. The broom doesn't do the same job. So I ended up with this, and there are pros and cons. So this is a higher quality than what I had before, so I can definitely feel that as I'm using it. Definitely sucks more, and it has 3 level of settings and I can go to the edges a little bit closer, so it does a better job at sucking. So overall I would say this is way better what I had before, but there's a catch. There's 2 things that I liked in my older vacuum a little bit more. It was half of the weight of this one, so it was lighter and it had a more firm standing because it can stand on its own, which was a main point when I choose this vacuum cleaner. That's why I put a work in there to research and find one that is standing on its own, because every time I stop, I move a furniture or something, I don't have to put it down on the floor and bend over, so it's way more comfortable. And there's not many out there that has that feature, but the quality comes with price. It is a lot heavier than my previous one. But in this one, the canister is way easier to clean. I just noticed that these cute flower mats are started to fall apart, so I need to do something about that. Everybody is doing something. We are currently wrapping up all the summer projects. Since everyone is distracted with their things, I'm going to eat the last ice cream. I think this is gonna be an easy fix, since this jute material is very forgiving to the stitches. There, it looks so much better, and I can stop the progression of this disaster that it's about to unfold.
That's a beef jerky.
The skirt steak kind of shrunk. It went into teeny tiny pieces, but the flavor, you guys, I don't think I have ever tasted this good. It's delicious, it's flavorful, and it's so soft.
I was gonna cut it across, but I don't know which way is cross. Skirt steak.
Another thing to enjoy on the summer, well, lots of eggs and not walking out in the rain to collect the eggs. Well, simplifying my home wasn't as simple at the beginning. Recognizing the areas where I can cut down more on the tasks, deciding on what to declutter. That journey started about 16 years ago, and it took me a few years to figure out the amount that is not a burden, that is serves me, and it helps my everyday life. I was able to regain the focus on what is important in my life, and at the time I had young kids, so obviously they were my main focus to get the housework done faster so I could spend more time with them. And then later I had the illustration that I wanted to do, and now I have YouTube and website, so these are all time consuming work, but I love it. Where to simplify the homemaking can be very personal, and it can make sense to everybody in their own life, what they want to reduce and what they want to spend more time with. But knowing the goal was definitely motivating to know what I want to say yes to, so I have to say no to other things like having lots of decorations in my home and lots of rug that I have to clean, and just, you know, little details that kind of I was able to let go in order to gain more time. This is how simplicity but function into my homemaking. Well, thank you so much for watching today's video, and if you enjoyed that, I will see you in the next video. Bye!